Imagine this: silence, not strength, is the sharpest weapon a man can wield. It cuts deeper than words, leaving an impact that lingers long after the noise fades. Silence commands respect without asking for it. This is the essence of Stoic masculinity, the quiet power that disarms manipulation, dissolves chaos, and creates an unshakable fortress within your soul. Alright, before we jump into today's video, just a quick reminder: if you're enjoying the content or find it helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. It's the best way to stay updated and support the channel. Now, let's get started. Imagine standing in a room filled with chaos, voices clashing, emotions spiraling, and tension rising like a storm about to break. Now picture yourself at the center of it all, unmoved, untouched, unbothered. Your silence doesn't scream, it commands. It doesn't beg for attention, it demands respect. This is the essence of Stoic masculinity, the quiet power that disarms manipulation, dissolves chaos, and creates an unshakable fortress within your soul. Silence is not weakness, it is precision. It is the art of watching without reacting, of knowing without speaking, of feeling without succumbing. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, understood this better than anyone. His words echo through time. You have power over your mind, not outside events. But what does this strength look like? It looks like a man who refuses to be ruled by his emotions, a man who turns his silence into armor, his detachment into strategy. In the modern world, silence has been misunderstood. It's seen as passivity, as a lack of engagement. But true silence, the kind that Stoics mastered, is active. It's deliberate. It's the pause between stimulus and response, the space where clarity resides. When you cultivate this silence, you become untouchable, not because you're invincible, but because you're unshakable. Silence is the foundation of Stoic masculinity. It is not merely the absence of noise, but the presence of clarity, focus, and intentionality. In silence, a man finds his strength. He learns to observe without reacting, to listen without interrupting, and to act without hesitation. Silence is the space where wisdom is born and clarity thrives. Silence is that rock. Silence allows you to detach from the chaos of the world and center yourself. It creates room for reflection, for understanding, and for deliberate action. When you cultivate silence, you become unshakable, untouchable, and grounded in your own strength. However, silence is not passivity, it is active engagement with the present moment, without unnecessary noise or distraction. Imagine this: every morning you do this morning rituals of silence. Begin your day with 10 minutes of quiet reflection. Sit in a calm space, free from distractions, and focus on your breath or a Stoic principle. This practice sets the tone for a focused and peaceful day. Active listening. In conversations, make it a habit to listen deeply. Resist the urge to interrupt or respond immediately. Let your silence convey your strength and understanding. Pause before reacting. When faced with provocation or stress, take a moment to pause before responding. Use silence as a tool to regain control over your emotions. Digital detox. Schedule periods during your day where you disconnect from technology. Turn off your phone, step away from screens, and embrace the quiet. Silence is not just about avoiding external noise, it's about silencing the internal chatter that clouds your mind. Cultivate silence and you will cultivate clarity, strength, and wisdom. Have you ever wondered why the most attractive men are the ones who seem the least affected? It's not their looks, their charm, or their wealth, it's their presence, their ability to stand firm, to remain calm, to let the world swirl around them without being pulled into its chaos. This is the silent fortress, and you can build it. I've seen this power firsthand. There was a man I once knew, let's call him Daniel. He wasn't the loudest in the room nor the most charismatic, but when he walked into a space, people noticed. Why? Because Daniel carried himself with a quiet confidence. He didn't rush to speak. He didn't react to provocation. He observed, he listened, and when he did speak, his words carried weight. It wasn't what he said, it was how he said it, and more importantly, how little he said. His silence was his strength, and it made him magnetic. But this kind of silence isn't easy to achieve. It requires discipline. It requires mastery over your mind, your ego, and your emotions. And this brings us to the first principle of Stoic masculinity: radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is the cornerstone of emotional resilience. It's the ability to face reality as it is, without resistance, without denial, without unnecessary suffering. This is not resignation, it's empowerment. When you accept what is, you free yourself from the chains of what could be. You stop fighting battles that don't exist. You stop wasting energy on fantasies and fears. You become present, and in that presence you find clarity. Think about the last time you were overwhelmed by emotion, anger, fear, sadness. Did you fight it? Did you try to suppress it, deny it, or escape it? And what happened? Did the emotion go away or did it grow stronger? The truth is, resistance amplifies suffering, but acceptance dissolves it. When you accept your emotions, you take away their power. You stop being their victim and you start being their master. I remember a moment in my own life when this principle changed everything. I was facing a situation that felt unbearable, a betrayal by someone I trusted deeply. My first instinct was to fight it, to resist the pain, to drown it in distractions. But the more I fought, the heavier the pain became. It wasn't until I sat with it, accepted it, and allowed myself to feel it fully that the weight began to lift. Acceptance didn't erase the pain, but it transformed it. It turned it into a lesson, a source of strength, a stepping stone to growth. This is the power of radical acceptance. It's not about giving up, it's about letting go of the need to control, the need to resist, the need to escape. When you let go, you create space for clarity, for wisdom, for resilience. And this space is where your silence begins to grow. But silence alone is not enough. It must be paired with detachment. Detachment is the art of observing without absorbing, of engaging without entangling, of caring without clinging. It's the ability to remain connected to the world without being controlled by it. Detachment is the practice of freeing yourself from these judgments, of seeing things as they are, not as your ego interprets them. Do you know what happens when a man's ego is erased? He becomes untouchable. He stops reacting to insults, to flattery, to manipulation. He stops being a puppet to other people's strings. He becomes the master of his own mind, his own emotions, his own destiny. I once worked with a man who embodied this principle perfectly. He was a leader in his field, respected by everyone who knew him. But what set him apart wasn't his intelligence or his skills, it was his detachment. He didn't react to criticism or praise. He didn't seek validation or approval. He stayed true to his values, his vision, his purpose, and because of this, he was unstoppable. People tried to manipulate him, to provoke him, to sway him, but they couldn't. His detachment made him immune to their tactics. Detachment is not indifference, it's not apathy, it's not withdrawal. It's presence without attachment, clarity without entanglement, power without ego. And when you pair detachment with silence, you create a force that is truly unshakable. Detachment is the art of freeing yourself from the grip of external events, emotions, and judgments. It is not about indifference, it is about perspective. The Stoics taught that true freedom comes from understanding what is within your control and what is not. Detachment allows you to engage with life fully while remaining centered and unshaken by its ups and downs. Detachment does not mean you stop caring, it means you stop clinging. It is the ability to let go of what you cannot control, whether it's the opinions of others, the outcomes of your efforts, or the unpredictability of life. When you practice detachment, you become resilient, adaptable, and free from unnecessary suffering. This freedom allows you to focus on what truly matters, your values, your actions, and your growth. How you practices. Daily reflection. Spend 5-10 minutes each day journaling about your thoughts and emotions. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to that is beyond my control? This practice helps you identify attachments that cause stress or distraction. Mental reframing. When faced with challenges or setbacks, remind yourself, this is outside my control. This reframing shifts your focus from external events to your internal strength. Meditation on impermanence. reflect on the transient nature of life. Practice seeing possessions, achievements, and even relationships as temporary gifts rather than permanent fixtures. This mindset fosters gratitude and reduces fear of loss. Detach from outcomes. When pursuing a goal, focus on the effort rather than the result. Trust that your actions are enough, regardless of the outcome. This reduces anxiety and keeps you grounded in the present moment. Detachment is not about avoiding life, it's about engaging with it in a way that protects your peace and integrity. When you practice detachment, you gain clarity, strength, and freedom to live according to your values. Are you ready to build your silent fortress? Are you ready to embrace radical acceptance, to master detachment, to wield the power of silence? Because once you do, nothing in this world can touch you. You will become the calm in the storm, the stillness in the chaos, the man who commands respect without saying a word. Some men are born to lead in silence, to command without speaking. Silence is not merely the absence of noise, it is a presence in itself. It carries weight, authority, and power. It is the language of the unshaken man, the man who understands that words are tools, not weapons. Masculine silence is not passive, it is active, deliberate, and strategic. It is the art of holding your ground without uttering a single word, of letting your presence speak louder than your voice ever could. The world is filled with noise, opinions, demands, distractions, manipulations. Most men drown in it, reacting to every sound, every provocation, every whisper that challenges their ego. But the Stoic man rises above the noise. He listens, but he does not react. He observes, but he does not absorb. His silence is not a retreat, it is a stance, a declaration of his inner strength. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be." This is the essence of masculine silence. It is the refusal to engage in unnecessary battles, the discipline to conserve your energy for what truly matters. It is the understanding that your actions will always speak louder than your words. Have you ever felt the need to defend yourself, to prove your worth, to justify your decisions? And what did it achieve? Did it make you stronger, or did it drain your energy? The truth is, the most powerful men don't waste their breath on defense. They let their silence do the talking, they let their actions speak for themselves, and in doing so they command respect without asking for it. I once encountered a man who embodied this principle perfectly. Let's call him James. James was a leader, not because he demanded authority, but because he exuded it. He didn't argue, he didn't explain, he didn't justify. When challenged, he responded with silence. When provoked, he remained calm. His silence was not weakness, it was strength. It disarmed his critics, unsettled his enemies, and earned him the loyalty of those who followed him. James taught me that silence is not the absence of power, it is the presence of it. But masculine silence is not just about withholding words, it's about mastering emotions. It's about cultivating the ability to feel deeply without being ruled by those feelings. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They believed that emotions are not the enemy, they are the teachers. Anger, fear, sadness. These are not weaknesses, they are opportunities for growth. But only if you learn to observe them without judgment, to understand them without being consumed by them. This is the key to emotional resilience. It's not about suppressing your emotions, it's about mastering them. It's about recognizing that your emotions are not you, they are merely visitors in your mind, and you have the power to decide whether they stay or go. Think about the last time you were consumed by emotion, anger that made you lash out, fear that made you retreat, sadness that made you shut down. What if, instead of reacting, you had paused? What if you had observed the emotion, understood it, and chosen how to respond? How much power would you have gained in that moment? I remember a moment in my own life when this principle became clear. I was in a heated argument with someone I cared about deeply. My anger was boiling over, my ego demanding to be heard. But in the middle of that storm, I paused. I took a breath. And in that moment, the anger dissolved. It wasn't weakness, it was strength. It was the strength to choose clarity over chaos, wisdom over impulse, silence over noise. This is the art of masculine silence. It's not about shutting down, it's about tuning in It's about listening to your emotions without being ruled by them. It's about responding with intention rather than reacting with impulse. And when you master this art, you become unshakable. But silence alone is not enough. It must be paired with boundaries. Boundaries are the walls of your silent fortress, the lines that protect your peace, your energy, your values. Without boundaries, silence becomes vulnerability. Without boundaries, detachment becomes apathy. Boundaries are not about isolation, they are about protection. They are about creating space for clarity, growth, and resilience. Do you know where your boundaries lie? Do you know what you will tolerate and what you will not? Because if you don't, someone else will decide for you. Manipulators, critics, enemies, they thrive on weak boundaries. They push, they prod, they provoke until you crumble. But when your boundaries are clear, they cannot touch you. I once worked with a man who struggled with boundaries. He was kind, generous, and empathetic, but he was also exhausted. People took advantage of his kindness, drained his energy, and left him feeling empty. It wasn't until he learned to set boundaries, firm, unapologetic boundaries, that he regained his strength. He stopped saying yes to everything. He stopped explaining himself. He stopped tolerating disrespect. And in doing so, he reclaimed his power. Boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges. They connect you to your values, your purpose, your peace. They allow you to engage with the world without losing yourself in it. And when paired with silence, they create a force that is truly unstoppable. Are you ready to set your boundaries? Are you ready to protect your silent fortress, to guard your energy, to reclaim your power? Because once you do, you will become the man who commands respect without asking for it, the man who leads in silence, the man who cannot be shaken. Do you know what happens when a man's ego is erased? Detachment is not indifference, it is not apathy, it is not withdrawal. Detachment is the art of seeing the world clearly, of engaging with it fully without being imprisoned by it. It is the practice of releasing your grip on the things that do not serve you, your ego, your fears, your desires, and stepping into the freedom of clarity. When a man masters detachment, he masters himself. And when he masters himself, he becomes untouchable. The Stoics understood this principle deeply. They believed that suffering is not caused by events, but by our attachment to those events. Detachment is the practice of freeing yourself from those judgments, of seeing things as they are, not as your ego colors them. It is the ability to remain calm in the face of chaos, to remain centered in the face of manipulation, to remain powerful in the face of adversity. Think about the last time you were consumed by something, a desire, a fear, an insult. What did it cost you? Your peace? Your clarity? Your strength? Now imagine what would happen if you let go. If you released your attachment to that thing, how much freedom would you gain? I once knew a man who struggled with detachment. He was driven by his ego, constantly chasing validation, constantly reacting to criticism. Every insult wounded him deeply. Every failure shattered his confidence. But when he began to practice detachment, everything changed. He stopped reacting to the noise around him. He stopped seeking approval. He stopped letting his ego dictate his actions. And in doing so, he found a strength he never knew he had. He became calm, centered, unshakable. He became free. But detachment is not easy. It requires discipline, courage, and clarity. It requires you to confront your ego, to face your fears, to let go of your desires. It requires you to step into the unknown, to embrace uncertainty, to trust yourself. And this brings us to the next principle of Stoic masculinity, ego dissolution. Ego dissolution is the process of stripping away the false self, the self that is built on fear, on insecurity, on the need for validation. It is the practice of seeing yourself as you truly are, without the masks, without the illusions, without the lies. Ego dissolution is the path to virtue, to authenticity, to freedom. Who are you without the need to be liked, to be admired, to be validated? Who are you when you strip away the masks, the roles, the expectations? Because the answer to that question is where your true power lies. I remember a moment in my own life when I faced this question. I was chasing success, driven by the need to prove myself, to be recognized, to be admired. But no matter how much I achieved, it was never enough. My ego was a bottomless pit, consuming everything I gave it. It wasn't until I stopped chasing, stopped proving, stopped needing, that I found peace. Ego dissolution wasn't easy. It was painful, uncomfortable, terrifying, but it was also liberating. It allowed me to see myself clearly, to accept myself fully, to step into my true power. This is the power of detachment. It is not about rejecting the world. It is about freeing yourself from its grip. It is about engaging with life without being enslaved by it. It is about seeing things as they are, not as your ego wants them to be. And when you pair detachment with silence, you create a force that is truly unstoppable. But detachment alone is not enough. It must be paired with emotional fortitude. Emotional fortitude is the ability to face your fears, your pain, your struggles without flinching. It is the practice of standing firm in the face of adversity, of enduring discomfort, of embracing uncertainty. The Stoics believed that adversity is not a curse, it is a teacher. Emotional fortitude is the strength to learn from those difficulties, to grow from them, to be transformed by them. Think about the last time you faced adversity, a failure, a betrayal, a loss. Did you run from it? Did you resist it? Did you let it break you? Or did you stand firm? Did you endure? Did you grow? Because how you face adversity defines who you are. I once met a man who embodied emotional fortitude. Let's call him David. David had faced unimaginable challenges, losses that would have broken most men, but David didn't run from his pain. He didn't resist it. He embraced it. He allowed it to teach him, to strengthen him, to transform him. His pain became his power. His struggles became his strength. David taught me that emotional fortitude is not about avoiding pain. It's about facing it, enduring it, and growing from it. Emotional fortitude is not just about enduring adversity. It's about embracing it. It's about seeing challenges as opportunities, struggles as lessons, pain as growth. It's about understanding that the greatest strength comes from the greatest struggles. And when you pair emotional fortitude with detachment, you create a force that is truly unshakable. Are you ready to master detachment? Are you ready to dissolve your ego, to embrace your struggles, to step into your true power? Because once you do, you will become the man who cannot be touched, the man who cannot be shaken, the man who commands respect without saying a word. Imagine this. You're in the middle of chaos and your emotions are nothing but still waters. Self-mastery is the pinnacle of Stoic masculinity. It is the ability to command your mind, your emotions, your actions, and your reactions without being controlled by external forces. It is the art of becoming the architect of your own destiny, the captain of your own soul. And yet, self-mastery is not about domination, it is about harmony. It is not about suppressing your emotions, it is about aligning them with your values. It is not about controlling others, it is about controlling yourself. Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This is the essence of self-mastery. It is the understanding that your mind is your greatest weapon, your emotions your greatest teacher, your actions your greatest legacy. But to wield these tools effectively, you must first master yourself. Self-mastery begins with awareness. Awareness of your thoughts, your emotions, your impulses, your fears. It is the practice of observing yourself without judgment, of understanding yourself without resistance, of accepting yourself without conditions. It is the ability to see yourself clearly, to know yourself fully, to embrace yourself completely. What you can do with self-mastery in practices. First of all, set daily intentions. Each morning, decide who you want to be and what you want to focus on. This practice aligns your actions with your values. Build small habits. Start with manageable habits that cultivate discipline, such as waking up early, exercising, or reading daily. Consistency in small actions leads to mastery in larger areas of life. Monitor your emotions. Throughout the day, check in with yourself. When you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask, "Why am I feeling this way?" This practice helps you understand and manage your emotional responses. Resist impulses. When you feel the urge to act impulsively, whether it's reacting in anger, indulging in distractions, or procrastinating, pause and reflect. Challenge yourself. Regularly push yourself beyond your comfort zone. Whether it's taking on a difficult task, having an uncomfortable conversation, or facing a fear, these challenges strengthen your willpower and resilience. Self-mastery is a lifelong practice. It requires patience, persistence, and reflection. But with each step, you gain greater control over your life and become a man who leads himself with strength and integrity. When was the last time you truly observed yourself? Not your image, not your achievements, not your reputation, but your essence. When was the last time you asked yourself, who am I? What do I believe? Because without awareness, there can be no mastery. I once worked with a man who struggled with self-mastery. He was successful, respected, admired, but he was also restless, unfulfilled, disconnected. He had mastered the external world, but he had not mastered himself. He was driven by fear, by insecurity, by the need for validation. It wasn't until he began to practice awareness, daily, deliberate awareness, that he began to change. He started observing his thoughts, his emotions, his actions. He started questioning his beliefs, his values, his priorities. And in doing so, he found clarity, peace, purpose. He found himself. But awareness alone is not enough. It must be paired with discipline. Discipline is the backbone of self-mastery, the ability to act in alignment with your values even when it's difficult, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's painful. Discipline is not about rigidity, it's about consistency. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. It's not about punishment, it's about empowerment. The Stoics understood the importance of discipline. They believed that virtue is not a gift, it is a practice. Discipline is the practice of doing what you have to do, of choosing what is right over what is easy, of prioritizing what matters over what distracts. It is the ability to stay true to your values, your purpose, your vision, even in the face of temptation, even in the face of adversity. Think about the last time you gave in to temptation, whether it was a distraction, a desire, or a fear. What did it cost you? Your time, your energy, your integrity? Now imagine what would happen if you chose discipline instead, if you chose to act in alignment with your values, your purpose, your vision. How much power would you gain? I remember a moment in my own life when discipline changed everything. I was facing a decision that felt impossible, a choice between what was easy and what was right. My ego wanted the easy path, the comfortable path, the path of least resistance. But my values demanded more. And so I chose discipline. I chose to act in alignment with my values, even though it was difficult, even though it was uncomfortable, even though it was painful. And in doing so, I found strength, clarity, purpose. I found freedom. This is the power of discipline. It is not about suppressing your desires. It is about aligning them with your values. It is not about avoiding temptation. It is about mastering it. It is not about punishing yourself. It is about empowering yourself. And when you pair discipline with awareness, you create a force that is truly unstoppable. But self-mastery is not just about awareness and discipline, it is also about resilience. Resilience is the ability to endure, to adapt, to overcome. It is the practice of facing adversity with courage, of embracing challenges with determination, of transforming struggles into strength. The Stoics believed that resilience is not just a virtue, it is a necessity. Resilience is the fire that forges your strength, the adversity that tests your character, the struggle that shapes your soul. Think about the last time you faced adversity, a failure, a betrayal, a loss. Did you let it break you? Did you let it define you? Or did you let it strengthen you? Did you let it teach you? Did you let it transform you? Because how you face adversity defines who you are. I once knew a man who embodied resilience. Let's call him Michael. Michael had faced unimaginable struggles, losses that would have broken most men, but Michael didn't run from his pain. He didn't resist it. He embraced it. He allowed it to teach him, to strengthen him, to transform him. His struggles became his strength, his pain became his power, his adversity became his growth. Michael taught me that resilience is not about avoiding adversity. It is about embracing it, enduring it, overcoming it. Resilience is not just about enduring adversity, it is about transforming it. It is about seeing challenges as opportunities, struggles as lessons, pain as growth. It is about understanding that the greatest strength comes from the greatest struggles. And when you pair resilience with awareness and discipline, you create a force that is truly unshakable. Resilience is the ability to endure adversity and emerge stronger. It is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of strength in the face of it. The Stoics viewed challenges as opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." Resilience transforms obstacles into stepping stones, pain into wisdom, and setbacks into progress. Resilience is built through perspective and practice. It begins with reframing challenges, not as punishments or failures, but as tests of character and opportunities for growth. Resilience also requires embracing discomfort. By willingly facing difficulties, you train yourself to endure and thrive under pressure. Gratitude plays a key role in resilience as well. Recognizing the lessons hidden in hardships allows you to move forward with strength and clarity. Reframe challenges. When faced with adversity, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? This mindset shifts your focus from the pain of the moment to the potential for growth. Embrace discomfort. Regularly challenge yourself to step outside your comfort zone, whether it's through physical challenges like exercise, mental challenges like learning a new skill, or emotional challenges like difficult conversations. Each act of discomfort strengthens your resilience. Practice gratitude. Reflect on the challenges you've overcome and the lessons they've taught you. Write down 3 things you're grateful for each day, especially those related to growth through adversity. Gratitude builds resilience by fostering a positive perspective. Focus on the present. Resilience requires staying grounded in the moment. When overwhelmed, focus on what you can do right now rather than worrying about the future or regretting the past. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to negativity and dissatisfaction. It helps you see challenges as opportunities, relationships as blessings, and even small moments as sources of joy. Gratitude also strengthens your ability to face adversity with grace, as it keeps you grounded in the positive aspects of your life. By practicing gratitude, you cultivate a mindset of abundance, resilience, and appreciation for the present moment. So how you bring gratitude into practices? Daily gratitude. Journaling. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. These can be simple, such as a conversation, a meal, or a moment of peace. This practice trains your mind to focus on the positive. Gratitude in challenges. When facing difficulties, ask yourself, what can I be grateful for in this situation? This reframing builds resilience and perspective. Express gratitude to others. Regularly thank the people who support, inspire, or help you. Whether through words, actions, or gestures, expressing gratitude strengthens your relationships and fosters connection. Mindful appreciation. Throughout the day, pause to appreciate the small moments: sunlight on your face, a sip of coffee, or the sound of laughter. These mindful moments deepen your sense of gratitude for life's simplicity. Focus on the present. Gratitude thrives in the present moment. Avoid dwelling on regrets or anxieties about the future. Instead, focus on the here and now, appreciating what is within your reach. Gratitude is not just a reaction to good fortune, it is a practice that transforms your perspective and enriches your life. By cultivating gratitude, you align yourself with the Stoic principle of finding joy and strength in all circumstances. Develop a support system. Surround yourself with people who inspire and encourage you. Share your struggles and victories with trusted friends or mentors. Resilience is strengthened when you have people to lean on during tough times. Resilience is not a trait, it is a skill that can be cultivated. With each challenge you face, you have the opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable of navigating life's trials with Stoic strength. Are you ready to master yourself? Are you ready to cultivate awareness, to practice discipline, to embrace resilience? Because once you do, you will become the man who commands his mind, his emotions, his actions. You will become the man who cannot be touched, the man who cannot be shaken, the man who commands respect without saying a word. Legacy is not about fame, fortune, or power. It's about impact. It's about the mark you leave on the world, the influence you have on others, the values you embody and pass on. A man's legacy is not written in his words, it is written in his actions. It is not defined by what he achieves, it is defined by who he becomes. And Stoic masculinity is the path to becoming a man whose legacy endures. The Stoics believed that life is fleeting, that death is inevitable, that the only thing that truly matters is how you live. Your legacy is not about the possessions you leave behind, it is about the principles you live by. It is not about the titles you earn, it is about the character you cultivate. It is not about the applause you receive, it is about the respect you command. What values will people associate with your name? What impact will your presence have on those around you? Because your legacy is being built every day, with every choice you make, with every action you take. I once met a man who understood the power of legacy deeply. Let's call him Robert. Robert was not wealthy, not famous, not powerful, but he was respected. He lived with integrity, with humility, with purpose. He treated people with kindness, with fairness, with dignity. He stood firm in his values even when it was difficult, even when it was unpopular. And because of this, Robert's legacy endured. People remembered him not for what he achieved, but for who he was. His legacy was not written in gold, it was written in the hearts of those he touched. But legacy is not just about the impact you have on others, it is about the impact you have on yourself. It is about becoming the man you aspire to be, living the life you want to lead, embodying the values you hold dear. It is about creating a life that you can look back on with pride, with gratitude, with fulfillment. This brings us to the final principle of Stoic masculinity: purpose. Purpose is the foundation of legacy, the reason you wake up in the morning, the vision that drives your actions, the meaning that gives your life direction. Without purpose, life becomes aimless, directionless, meaningless, but with purpose, life becomes focused, intentional, fulfilling. The Stoics believed that purpose is not something you find, it is something you create. Purpose is the practice of deciding who you want to be, what you want to stand for, what you want to achieve, and then aligning your actions with that vision. Purpose is the guiding star of a Stoic life. It gives direction to your actions, meaning to your struggles, and clarity to your decisions. Without purpose, life becomes aimless, driven by fleeting desires and external influences. The Stoics believed that living in alignment with your purpose is the key to fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be." Purpose is not found, it is created through intentional living and commitment to your values. Purpose is deeply personal. It is rooted in your values, passions, and the impact you wish to make on the world. Cultivating purpose requires self-reflection and honesty. It is not about chasing external validation or superficial goals. It is about living a life that feels meaningful to you. Purpose also provides resilience and motivation during difficult times. It reminds you why you endure and strive. What drives you? What inspires you? What gives your life meaning? Because without purpose, your legacy will fade, but with purpose, your legacy will endure. Imagine this every day you practice these 5 things make life more value. Define your values. Take time to reflect on what truly matters to you. Write down your core values, such as integrity, growth, or service, and use them as a compass for your decisions and actions. Set long-term goals. Think about the legacy you want to leave and the impact you want to make. Break these into smaller, actionable steps that align with your values. Reflect regularly. Spend time each week reviewing your actions and choices. Ask yourself, am I living in alignment with my purpose? Find meaning in challenges. When faced with hardship, connect it to your purpose. For example, if your purpose is to grow, view struggles as opportunities to strengthen your character. Serve others. Purpose often involves contributing to something greater than yourself. Find ways to help, inspire, or support others in alignment with your values. Service deepens your sense of meaning and connection. Living with purpose is not about perfection, it's about intention. When you cultivate purpose, you create a life of meaning, direction, and fulfillment, grounded in Stoic principles and unwavering strength. I remember a moment in my own life when I faced this question. I was drifting, chasing goals that didn't fulfill me, living a life that didn't inspire me. Everything changed. I started aligning my actions with my values, my vision, my meaning. I started living with intention, with focus, with fulfillment. Purpose didn't just give my life direction, it gave my life depth. Purpose is not about ambition, it is about alignment. It is not about achievement, it is about meaning. It is not about success, it is about significance. And when you pair purpose with legacy, you create a life that is truly unforgettable. Are you ready to build your legacy? Are you ready to live with purpose, to act with intention, to embody your values? Because once you do, you will become the man whose presence inspires, whose actions transform, whose legacy endures. The Stoics believed that reflecting on mortality is essential for living a meaningful and intentional life. Far from being morbid, this practice, known as memento mori, remember you will die, is a reminder of life's impermanence and the urgency to live fully. Seneca wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing." Embracing mortality helps you prioritize what truly matters and avoid wasting time on trivial pursuits. When you accept the inevitability of death, you gain clarity and courage. You stop fearing the future and start valuing the present. Mortality is not an enemy, it is a teacher that reminds you to live with purpose, gratitude, and integrity. By reflecting on death, you cultivate humility and wisdom, knowing that your time is limited and precious. Daily reflection on mortality. Spend a few minutes each day contemplating your mortality. Ask yourself, if this were my last day, how would I spend it? This practice sharpens your focus and helps you live intentionally. Let go of fear. When you feel afraid of failure, rejection, or uncertainty, remind yourself, in the end, none of this will matter. This perspective reduces fear and builds courage. Prioritize meaning, reflect on what truly matters to you, your values, relationships, and purpose, and align your actions with these priorities. Avoid wasting time on distractions or superficial pursuits. Celebrate life's impermanence. Recognize that life's fleeting nature makes it beautiful. Appreciate moments of joy, connection, and growth, knowing they will not last forever. Leave a legacy. Consider the impact you want to have on the world. Live in a way that reflects your values and inspires others, knowing that your actions will outlive you. Embracing mortality is not about fearing death. It is about honoring life. By reflecting on the impermanence of existence, you gain the wisdom and courage to live fully, intentionally, and in alignment with Stoic principles. Finally, let's find out your inner peace. Inner peace is the ultimate goal of Stoic philosophy. It is the ability to remain calm, centered, and unshaken by external events. The Stoics believed that true peace comes not from controlling the world, but from mastering your mind. Inner peace is cultivated by detaching yourself from things outside your control and focusing on living virtuously and intentionally. Inner peace is not the absence of challenges, but the ability to face them with equanimity. It requires understanding the difference between what you can control and what you cannot. By letting go of attachment to outcomes and external validation, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and anxiety. Inner peace also involves accepting life as it is, rather than resisting or resenting it. Focus your energy on actions and decisions you can influence, and let go of the rest. Practice acceptance. Instead of resisting difficulties, accept them as part of life. Remind yourself, this is happening. Acceptance reduces frustration and builds resilience. Meditate daily. Spend time each day in quiet reflection or meditation. Focus on your breath, observe your thoughts, and let go of distractions. This practice helps you cultivate calm and clarity. Detach from outcomes. When pursuing goals, focus on the effort rather than the result. Remember that outcomes are often influenced by factors beyond your control. Detachment frees you from unnecessary stress. Simplify your life. Reduce distractions and commitments that drain your energy. Focus on what truly matters, your values, relationships, and purpose. Simplicity creates space for peace and presence. Inner peace is a lifelong practice, not a destination. By living in alignment with Stoic principles, accepting what you cannot control, acting with virtue, and focusing on the present, you cultivate a calm and resilient mind, capable of navigating life's storms with grace. Stoic masculinity is not a destination, it is a journey. It is the practice of cultivating silence, detachment, self-mastery, resilience, and purpose. It is the art of becoming unshakable, untouchable, unforgettable. It is the path to becoming a man who commands respect without asking for it, a man who leads without speaking, a man whose legacy echoes in eternity. But this journey is not easy. It requires discipline, courage, and commitment. It requires you to face your fears, to dissolve your ego, to embrace your struggles. It requires you to let go of what does not serve you, to align your actions with your values, to live with purpose. Are you ready to walk this path? Are you ready to embrace Stoic masculinity, to build your silent fortress, to master yourself, to leave a legacy that endures? Because the choice is yours. The journey begins now. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming content. And if you found this helpful, feel free to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. See you in the next video.